Hi, okay, we're going to take a look at some ETFs here. And I just go to barchart.com. I'm still learning them myself a little bit. But you just go up here and click ETFs by sector or any of this ETF stuff, basically. I think I click ETF by sector. And then you just go in here. And again, it's just kind of trial and error. What I do is I go down and I look for the ones with volume. Obviously, if it's 100, you're not interested. You just go down like this one's a million shares today. So anything that's got good volume, and then after you go through these for a while, you'll just get to it'll just become obvious which ones are the key ones. Um, EFTs. Let me just click on that. Maybe I just clicked on EFTs. Yeah, this is where I usually look. So click on ETFs up there. I said EFT probably. Sorry, ETFs, and then go through agriculture. Just all the different ones you're interested in, like on and you'll just see the ones with the high volume, and that's the ones to go for. And again, just follow my newsletters and in my commentary, I'm going to start talking more about these, so you'll just get to know them from that too. And like I said, I'm still learning to look for good ones, but like this COW, that's a pretty good one for trading live cattle and lean hogs. The only thing I don't like about that one is it combines the two together. I would rather have it just be live cattle or just be lean hogs. But I think like right now, live cattle and lean hogs are both getting ready to head higher. So this is a good one. And I plan on trading this one. JO is coffee. That's one we're not long yet, but I'm looking for a buy signal in coffee, which coffee is almost there. So that's one we're going to be getting into. So just go down these lists, look for ones, and I have found out I started trading ETFs myself just to test the volume and everything, and I've had no trouble at all getting filled on any of these, getting good prices, getting good fills, even on the ones that are lower volume. So again, I'll let you know if I find one that it doesn't work, but I've had no trouble even when they do have a little bit lower volume. I mean, if you want to trade coffee, this is pretty much the only one that I found. So you'd like to see the volume higher on it, but it's not, so you just got to go with it. And I haven't found the volume to be a problem yet. I mean, obviously, it's something like 100 a day. That might not be the one to look at, but so that's one way. Look at volume, go through the ETFs on Barchart or wherever, and then I'm going to show you some ETFs real quick that probably the main number one ones that we're trading. Okay, now here's one we're actually in the premium stock newsletter. We got long right on this bar, right on this move out of the low, out of the base. I put in a buy signal. It was right in here, right at around $32 a share. Actually, we were probably 31 something. This is the Cocoa ETF, NIB, and right now that's at 35.42, and we bought it around 32. So we're ahead about 3 points on that. We bought 100 shares, so that's $300. Again, if like I mentioned in the email I just sent out, if you read that, I mentioned 50 shares is good too. I mean, 50 shares would be 150 bucks. So just whatever your risk level would be. I did go a little higher on this because I didn't think the low was too far away. But if it would have been a little more risk, I probably would have went 50 shares on this. Okay, we are also long USO, which is the crude oil ETF. And what I'm going to start doing in my commodity newsletters is I'm going to start when I put out a trade, like for coffee, I'm going to say, okay, this is the ETF you can trade if you want to trade that. Because a lot of people will have both commodity and stock account. You can't trade ETFs in a commodity account, but a lot of people have both accounts. You got to trade them in a stock account. So, but you can still trade them using my commodity newsletter if you're taking that, or however you want to work that out. Okay, we went long right again, right on this move above the 10-10 bands here on USO. We got long right about 32. That's up to 35. We only went 50 shares on that. We're still holding. This could break here lower, but I still think overall it's heading higher. This would probably be a good place to take profits, but since we're really ahead on it pretty good and I think it's going to continue higher, I'm just holding it in the premium newsletter. So USO is a good one for crude oil. SLV, we got long that just at a perfect spot too. And again, I keep saying all this about we're in these trades, right? Because it's just the plain old truth. But again, there's always going to be losers, and don't get overconfident when you got to always expect that there's going to be some losers along with this, and there will be some losers. Silver, I think we took the buy signal over here. I'm pretty sure we got in right here on this break above the bands, and then we did have to sit this whole thing out, but I just really thought that silver was going to head higher, so I was really confident in this trade. And now it has moved our way, and I think it's going to continue higher. Usually when it puts these full bars above the bands, that's a very good signal, sign of strength that the market's going to continue higher. It's just consolidating here. It might come down and test the bands, but I think SLV is higher, and we're in at a very good price. We got in right around 27. It's at 30, and that one I did only recommend 50 shares because I'm trying to keep the risk down as low as I can on these, because we bought this 27 and I was risking probably 25, 24. I can't remember exactly where the stop was on that. I might even risk more, but I really wasn't planning on risk more, because if it would have went against us, we would have got out. So we were risking like a couple $100 right in that area, and we're ahead $150. If it goes up to 34, we can make $300 or $400. So low risk. That's gonna kind of the thing I'm trying to get across with these ETFs. You can really put in low risk, and I know I'm just like everybody else. I want to I want to buy 100 shares, and I want every time it goes up a dollar to think there's another $100 I made. But if it's too much risk for you, just don't do it. It's just that simple. $50 a point is good enough. You can get rich slowly doing that. Okay, GLD, we got in at like 158. We got in down here on GLD. It's at 160, so we're ahead a little bit. Not enough to talk about, but I still think gold's going to head higher. So GLD is the gold ETF. Here's one we were long and we got out of, and we're going to get back in, and I think probably pretty quick. I think this is going to put in a buy signal, and we are going to trade natural gas mini contract in my premium commodity newsletter, because I really think that's got a lot of upside potential and going to be a big mover. So I'm going to start following that. That's one that I haven't necessarily followed so much in the past, but we're going to be trading many natural gas contracts. But here's one we went long over here, and we got out over here. We didn't make a lot, but we made. And then I think it was close to a $200 profit in the premium stock newsletter, maybe 180, 190. And now I think this is just a correction low coming in here. In the next buy signal, we're going to go long UNG. And UNG does have an extremely high volume, like 5 million a day sometimes. So UNG, USO, SLV, those are all really high volume. GLD, those are all high volume ETFs. So those, the volume is not a concern at all. Corn, I always saw that ETF, and I was always a little leery about it because the volume and all this and that. And I put this out in my stock newsletter, and I traded this personally, and I had absolutely no problem getting in and out. The prices was perfect. It was just instantaneous. Fill. So that's why I say sometimes you got to experiment with this stuff and just give it a shot, because I was never that interested in this corn ETF in the past, and now I feel like it's a great one to trade, especially with corn being a big mover. Now I'm trying to go back a little on the chart to show you, but basically we got long back here and we got out up here, and this was a great trade, and I really like this corn ETF now. And before, I was always, in the past, I think I was looking at the volume too much and too concerned about volume. Well, now my computer's kind of locked up here, so I'll just talk you through the rest of these. CU is the copper ETF, and I think that's really about ready to put in a buy signal. So that's one we're going to be trading. JO, I almost have a buy signal in coffee, so we're going to be trading JO. I'm going to be taking the next buy signal in coffee. That's one that the volume isn't up there, but I think it's up there good enough to where there won't be any problems. And I am going to trade it myself. Again, I'm kind of experimenting with these to learn how they go too, because I was never into the ETFs too much, because I was always so much into the futures. But I really think this is the way to go for a lot of people, so I'm trying to incorporate these in my newsletter a lot more. So that's about it. I'll be doing more videos on ETFs, and look for more information on ETFs in my newsletter. And thanks for listening. Jim.